Oh, ladies and gents, you knew it was coming. We're going to make a very long video about a very small section of footage. It's about 3 seconds. However, I am self-aware enough to pre-warn you that, yeah, this is going to be a long video and a lot of people are not going to like it. But I want to break this down. I want to talk about it. I wasn't actually going to, but a lot of people have been going, why aren't you talking about it? And I kept replying to people in the comment section was that actually this is all part and parcel of the same footage that was showed in the Russian Expo like 2 years ago. But because I guess like we haven't actually got to talk about it properly and break it down properly, because at that point Warner Brothers were threatening to take down channels. Like I received some threats. It was horrible. But also because I've got it here, it's released, it's there, we can also just actually talk about it. So I'm going to play it and then I'm going to break it down. There is actually quite a lot to go into here. There's a lot of theories to go into as well. Which I might do some separate videos of, but by and large this will just be me looking at it and kind of reviewing bits and bits and just sort of my initial thoughts. So let's take a look. That's it. That is literally it. I know it's very, very short and people are going to be super annoyed that this is a really long video, but I don't care! Click off the video if you don't like it, you bunch of peens. Now, the most important thing here is scale, right? So, and when I say scale, we're talking about scale on multiple levels. So scale of Godzilla in respect to other things around him. We're talking about scale of King Kong to other things around him. And then also Godzilla and Kong in scale versus one another. It's this scaling that I want to go into. So this all but confirms the leaks, basically, which I don't want to go into. I don't feel like there's any real point in kind of delving into the leaks right now. But it does all but confirm the leaks. And if you want to go and have a look for them, search for them. I've done videos on them. But this confirms that. It's a visual representative. We've seen it now. So what is it? Well, it's Godzilla getting out of the water and battling Kong. Or at least going to battle Kong. So in terms of the imagery, it's really nicely done. Yeah, you got some fake lens flares and stuff like that. I just want to review the actual footage. You got some fake lens flares and things like that, and it's all kind of there. But the footage, like in motion, it actually looks really good. I mean, that is spectacular. Like that is actually spectacular. But the scaling's way off. It's way off, and I don't like it because of the scaling. Like, unless there's a few things which indicate like it's. I don't understand why the scaling's so off. Basically, Godzilla shouldn't be that small. Because if you're watching him come, and that, bearing in mind, this is coming from someone that's biased, and I like this, and I think it's going to be great. But we have to be objective about this. Is the scaling is off, and that's not good. So as he comes out the water, you see his hand comes down, right? And a lot of people are like, well, is it in the foreground or the background, this plane? Because as he lands there, the plane bounces. Well, sort of moves. The camera moves. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, if I'm setting up a shot, right? So I'm establishing like a shot here. What would I do? What would look good in this shot? Well, I would probably have that plane there, and then I'd have his other hand come down and crush it. That would make a good shot. Can we all agree? Yeah, it would. And that's what I think this shot is going to be comprised of. Him clambering up onto this aircraft carrier. But he shouldn't be able to do that. In 2014's Godzilla, which admittedly the director has come out and said, I made a mistake, the scaling's way off even throughout this movie. Which, yeah, but I liked the scale of Godzilla in that one. He just seemed this monumental, ginormous creature, beyond anything that we could possibly fathom. And I liked that. I thought that was really, really good. So looking at this here, it remains to be seen whether his hand is in the foreground or the back. Well, the plane's in the background or the foreground. I'm going to anticipate that it can't really be It looks to be pretty close to where his hand lands. Because his hand is coming on straight onto the side of this aircraft carrier. And that's where that plane is going to be. And then his other hand is going to come over. See, you can see it. It's coming over and then it's going to crush it. And that'll make for a great shot. Like, that's a smart shot. Again, we can all agree that's a good shot. And the lighting's good. The effects are good. It looks really, really great. But the scaling is off. And then we start to look at Kong, right? Kong looks like a badass mofo. Like, he really does. He looks really, really cool. Really, really good, in fact. And I'm just trying to see what's on his head. So he's wet. So you can see all of the water coming off him up here. So he's wet. So he's been clambering through the water to get here, by the looks of it. That's why his beard's all sort of shaky, and there's water again coming off of his beard here. So he's wet. So that's interesting. It indicates that when we pan out to this shot here, that he would have probably, this is my sort of grand guess anyway, he's done a few jumps to get there. But god damn, the scaling's off. Like, he's not jumping. He's not jumping here. How? So you're dealing with a... And also as well, Godzilla is actually on this aircraft carrier, right? That is an aircraft carrier. We can see that when we're up here, the bow, the stern, whatever you want to call it. It's moving from the water. This is in the middle of the ocean from what it looks like anyway. And it's lifted. It's lifted up where Kong, has clearly jumped on it. Right? If you're looking at shot composition, that's clearly what's happened. He's wet, he's jumped, he's swam, whatever, and he's jumped on it. That's lifted it. But that doesn't make any sense. Because how is he bigger than Godzilla? How is he heavier than Godzilla? How is he able to tilt it? It shouldn't be... I don't know. But anyway, he's too big. Like, he is. He's too big. And this is the issue, is that it breaks continuity. But you can see it here, look. So it's clearly, like... You see how it's sinking down a little bit there? But then it comes up. So if you look at this part of the aircraft carrier, I'll move the mouse. So look at it there. So he's jumping up it, isn't he? So he's jumped on it, and then it starts to move. You know? So very clearly, guys, and it's sending shockwaves as well. If you look at this ship down here in the background, in the foreground, sorry, you'll see that that's moving as well. So they're sending shockwaves to one another. So it's very clearly an aircraft carrier. But Godzilla's too big for a goddamn aircraft carrier. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. But doesn't Kong look cool, man? He doesn't look to have the chains on his neck this time. So the problem in all of this lies in the fact that Godzilla's too small, Kong's too big. Well, no, Kong's not even too big, actually, judging by that. He's about right. Kong's about right. If you're looking at how he was by comparison to other things in Skull Island, he's about right. It's seemingly Godzilla they've messed up. You know? Because look at him, he gets punched. Boom. So it's... What is it then? Because Godzilla's not exactly squatted down either. He's still pretty there. I mean, I guess maybe, but no. Maybe he could get a bit bigger if he stood up properly, but he is, I mean, he is standing. Like, that's kind of his normal stance. I mean, Kong's head is as big as Godzilla's. And one important thing to note is that, yeah, Kong is a little bit closer to the camera, but not by much. And the only reason you say he's a little bit closer to the camera is because he's raining hellfire down with his right fist. So clearly the left side of him is closer to the camera. But he's too big. No, he's not too big. Godzilla's too small. What are they doing? It's so strange. You know, you can't convince me that this plane is that big. Like, that plane's small. Like, yeah, it's a big plane, but it's still not... Yeah, it's still not that big. It doesn't work in the context. So, I mean, look, there's my breakdown. But then this all leads to numerous other theories now, doesn't it? It's like, well, you know, how has this occurred? How is Godzilla shrunk? Which clearly he has somehow shrunk. Because Kong's about right. I mean, he's bigger, but, you know, he's about right, I guess. It's kind of what I'd expect. They're going to size him up somehow. He's about what I'd expect. So they look to have quite literally shrunk Godzilla somehow. Which doesn't make sense, because he went to the Hollow Earth to grow. That was the entire premise of King of the Monsters. That's the introduction of the Hollow Earth. He went there, he grew, he evolved. He fed on the radiation. That's why he got the different spines. Anyway, there you go. There's my breakdown. And again, I'm being objective. I still think this is going to be good. I think this looks good anyway. Just very odd sizing. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.